Well, shit fire fuck stick. Saints lose yet another winnable game in which it really felt like for the entirety of the game the Saints outplayed their opponent, but in this case it came down to quite literally the final 3 minutes of the game. The Saints just did not outplay their opponent, and that's what got them. Once again, driving home from the game. That's why I'm so late, because I got my season tickets this year, so I was at the game again. Dome was loud. It was good. I was pleasantly surprised by our performance, but at the same time, man, I mean, shit. When you have these surprising games in which not the defense, but the team, mostly the offense, is playing so much better than expected, especially when you have literally your entire wide receiver core out and you're finding ways to generate offense, you need to capitalize on that and win the fucking game. And I mean, this team is so fucking annoying because they can't play complementary football. They can't. They're allergic to it. Every game this season, when the offense has played well, the defense has been bad. When the defense has played well, the offense couldn't do shit. And especially the last 3 weeks with Andy Dalton, we've been really injured all of those games, and we found ways to generate offense in every single one of those games, including this one. The offense played really well, aside from settling for field goals, but even then, it felt like the offense played really well, even though they scored 26 points and had to settle for 4 field goals in the red zone. It really felt like the offense played well. Like, they played more than well enough to win. This team is a defensive team. And since our head coach, Dennis Allen, is our former defensive coordinator, he's obviously a defensive-minded head coach, you expect the defense to make the plays necessary to beat the Bengals. And they, aside from a couple sacks, like a sack early on and a couple sacks in the drive to hold them to a field goal, they could not stop shit. They could not. They let Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and all these receivers do whatever the fuck they wanted. They didn't really try to run the ball that much, but whenever they wanted to run the ball, they could pretty successfully. The defense was I understand Lattimore was out, but that was my concern. I knew the receivers were going to have a field day against these fucking corners because we don't have Lattimore. Adebo's been mid this year. Roby's been mid this year. And Tyrann Mathieu honestly been kind of overrated. He has not been great this season. Marcus May was back. That was kind of a big deal, but he didn't have as good of a game as I expected. But obviously, if we did not have Marcus May back there, it probably would have been even worse if we had someone like Justin Evans or JT Gray back there at safety. But I mean, this shit just did not. It wasn't meant to be. I mean, I don't know. When you have Andy Dalton and then you have Traquan Smith and Marquez Callaway, Kevin White. We had Rashid Shaheed. Shout out to Rashid Shaheed, by the way, for that 44-yard rushing touchdown early on in the game. That was fucking awesome. Deontay Hardy might have just lost his job while he was in IR. That's unfortunate for him. But good shit, Rashid. I would have liked to see him get more touches, especially after that fucking touchdown, but it is what it is. I guess there just wasn't much planned for him anyway, which is fair. It is his first game. So I'm not going to fault the coaching staff too much for that. But it's just so frustrating, dude, when the offense plays well enough to win and the defense, I mean, especially in the second half, dude, they just folded. They could not stop a fucking thing. And, my main issue is that, so we get the ball back with about 3 minutes left. The Saints ran the ball so well this game. That's probably going to be my only highlight video from the game is the rushing attack just in general. Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, Mark Ingram, Rashid Shaheed. The entire team ran the ball. So we had, well over 200 yards rushing. And at halftime, I think we had over 150 already yards rushing. So, the Saints just had to find ways to generate run plays. You would think you'd have plays for AK, Taysom, because that's our bread and butter, especially with all our receivers around. It's AK and Taysom. And the first down play we run with AK, fine, whatever. Second down, you put in Mark Ingram, and this is what I have a problem with. When you put Ingram in the game on second down, it is the most predictable fucking thing ever that is going to be a run up the middle. They do it every goddamn time. They run up the middle with Alvin Kamara, and then they put in Mark Ingram, and they run up the middle, and they don't get anything. And then it's third down. Why does Taysom Hill not touch the ball in that situation, especially on second down? Second down's a great time for Taysom Hill to touch the ball. First down, you can let Kamara run, that's fine. But second down, why is Ingram running? Why? Taysom needs to touch the ball. And I understand that the Bengals, they obviously heavily game planned for Taysom, even though Taysom did have a few good runs. you could tell, obviously, I mean, if Taysom's coming off a 4-touchdown game against the Seahawks and when he had over 130 total yards, Taysom's going to be a big, heavy part of the defensive game plan to stop. But I feel like every Saints fan, including myself, just feels like Taysom has to touch the ball in that situation, and he just did not, and it just baffled me. And then, not to mention, it was one thing to go 3 and out. Blake Gillikin proceeds to have the worst punt of all time. Like, fucking Blake Gillikin. Whenever I saw it live, I thought maybe it got blocked or something, but no, it was literally just a terrible punt. So the Bengals this time are down 2. All they need is a field goal to win the game, and not only did they get a field goal in the first play of the drive, fucking Jamar Chase slips tackle from Bradley Roby, and then Tyrann Mathieu just, I don't know what you want to call it, whiffs, misses. He just does not successfully tackle Jamar Chase, and then he fucking trouts into the end zone, and now it comes down to Andy Dalton and the fucking preseason second string wide receiver core to make plays in order to win this game, and obviously it was not successful. And this game is not on Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton actually played, I feel like, really, really, really well for what he had to work with. The stats are going to make it seem like he was mid, and I do believe Andy Dalton is pretty mid. Even though he's had a couple solid games, he's just mid. Now, no turnovers or anything like that. You know, he was solid, but he can't do anything with these receivers, especially with the game on the line. And I haven't even gotten into the fact that the last play of the game, the 4th and 16 shot to Marquez Callaway, which was literally just a Hail Mary at that point, because when it's 4th and 16 with like 30 seconds left in midfield, all you really can do is just throw up a prayer to your best receiver, which was Marquez Callaway for this game. And it was pass interference. It was clear and obviously pass interference, in my humble opinion, against Eli Apple. Am I biased? Yes, absolutely. But it was pass interference. And am I surprised the refs didn't call it? No. Am I like, I'm not over here, you know, shocked or anything like that, like in immense pain or anything. I don't care. This is just life. This is how it is. The Saints are mid this year. They're not good. I predicted whenever me and Nos made that collaboration prediction video, we both agreed we'd go 12-5, and we're already 2-4. That's not good. They're already 2-4. Now, what is good is that the Bucs lost to the Steelers today, which is very surprising because the Steelers have literally nobody on their defense today. They don't have T.J. Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick. They're like top 3 corners. They're injured to hell, and they somehow beat the Bucs, which is very good. I guess the Bucs are just falling off, and the Falcons are somehow exceeding expectations. They're 3-3. They just beat San Francisco by 2 scores. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to say shout out because fuck the Falcons, but they have looked pretty damn competent this year, and they have actually looked like they've been in every game they've played this year. So I got to give them credit. I really thought they'd be like a number 1 overall pick worthy team. Like, I thought they were going to be that bad. But once we played them, I knew they were at least a little better than that, and they sure are. So Atlanta's still, a team we got to watch out for in the division. Atlanta's 3-3, Bucs are 3-3, Saints 2-4. So the season's definitely not over. But I don't think the Bucs continue to be this bad. The Bucs are definitely worse than they have been in the past couple years. But I don't know. We're still going to have to maintain, just find a way to win some games. We got Arizona coming up this Thursday. I do think the Saints can definitely beat Arizona, but they're going to need to get some key pieces back. Olave should be back for that game. I'm really not sure about Michael Thomas. Jameis Winston actually dressed for this game, but was just the emergency backup. He wasn't quite healthy enough to be ready for this game. I think Jameis has a pretty decent chance. If we played on Sunday, I would really believe Jameis would play in this game. But since it's on Thursday, I'm really not sure what's going to happen. We'll just see. But if we can get Olave back and we can get, some of these other pieces back, especially Lattimore. I'm not sure how Lattimore is going to be. But D-Hop's coming back for that game because, remember, he has been on that 6-game suspension. That's going to be interesting to see what happens. But, yeah, we got Arizona coming up, and then we got the Raiders. We just got to find a way to string out some wins. Like, the season's definitely not over, and the NFC is definitely not good either. But the NFL is so weird this year. Like, the Packers are 3-3, the Jets are 4-2, the Giants are 5-1. Shout out the Giants. They're fucking, wow. Brian Daboll is what you call a damn good head coach. And I know he's been injured, but Dennis Allen is not that Sean Payton type head coach we thought he'd be. Now, I'm not saying that necessarily because of this game, but I'm just speaking for all of us. He's just not an elite head coach that's going to be the reason we string out wins. Good teams find ways to win games like this, and bad teams don't. With the Saints, I don't think the Saints are going to be shit this year. We're not going to go 2-15, but we're also not going to go 12-5. we can hope that we can go 9-8, 10-7, and also get healthy. But I've talked enough about this game. Dude, those are my thoughts. I mean, shit happens. Another very winnable game, but it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, we're just going to have to just move on from this. We got Arizona coming up really soon on Thursday in Arizona. So, yeah, just hope and pray that the Saints can get healthier and just find a way to win. Thank you guys for watching. I apologize for being late again, but that's what I have to say. I'll see you guys in the next video.